studio. We haven't had too many goalless draws, so I suppose we're to expect one every now and then. Alexi Lala, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Thierry Henry, Rebecca Lowe with you. Let's show you then what happened. We have a few highlights, not tons. We got enough, Alexi, because arguably most importantly in the stands, Sir David Beckham.
Yeah, we worked for some highlights. There's a pensive David Beckham highlight right there, and then long-distance shot here from Declan Rice. And he gets all of it, but a little too much of it over the top. And, okay, well, I think that's the end of the highlights on the field for the first half. Slim pickings, like you said, Rebecca. But, you know, right before they go into the locker rooms, a little back and forth. Carlos Queiroz, coach of Ghana, screaming and yelling, and Jude Bellingham. So, second half.
Second half, and we start with a double chance. First from Noni Madueke. I don't even know if you can call that a chance. Ball was blocked. England's going to get the ball back, and then you're going to see Anthony Gordon trying to have a strike. He did, actually, and the goalkeeper saves it. And then Rebecca was scared. 1v1. 1v1 for Prince Adu, but Konsa, for me, a kind of a weird way to put your body in, but he did, and then Semenyo actually blocks the ball.
Foul?
Well, he doesn't make contact with the ball, for me. But then, that's what Prince Adu was asking, and it didn't happen for them.
Then we see a good chance by England here. Good header. No, good shot.
Bukayo Saka first, yes. Yes, that's the one.
There you go. There's the header by Riley. Comes back to Kane. Should have finished better here. At least hit the target. And Rebecca was almost... She was happy, but not happy enough with the finish. Harry, come on, Harry. Then we have a set piece here from England. Good ball, little fumble, comes back, good header by Gray, but blocked by Opong. That wouldn't go in, that yet.
No,
that was going out, yeah.
Carlos Queiroz with a really good point for Ghana. So England 0, Ghana 0, the final score. We've often seen it, Thierry, in games where a team tries to break down another for 45 minutes, maybe for 60, and then they bring substitutes on and it changes the game. That didn't happen for England in terms of making the breakthrough. Why could they still not find a way through?
It did change a bit. When Bukayo Saka came on, it did change a tiny bit more, as you saw. He came inside at one point and curved that ball at the goalkeeper. Save, but that's okay, we've seen goals. A lot of goals in these tournaments. That's more of a World Cup game. You have two teams on 3 points, one wanted to win, the other one knew that if they get a point, they might go through after what's last time, 16 years, I think it is. So
yeah, to the knockout stage,
they're going to battle for that. You saw Carlos Queiroz celebrating because 4 points for them, it's outstanding, especially getting one against England. So you can understand why Ghana went that way, and it was on England to try to open them up. But that's a proper World Cup game.
Are you surprised that they didn't make the breakthrough?
I said it when I chose my group, England, Ghana, Croatia, Panama, that Ghana is going to disturb England and Croatia to take points to go through, and that's what we're seeing now. This was a real game. People might say 0-0 is not a game because so far we have been spoiled by a lot of goals. This was a real game where we see Ghana defending very well, physically very strong. England trying with the possession, missing a little bit of magic on the sides, but do not take anything away from England. They had a good performance, but a draw was a good result, and for the game that we saw, so good game.
OK, Peter said don't panic to the England fans.
Yeah, I mean, don't panic at all to you and to all the England fans out there. But, you know, speaking of you in our pregame, you did a 101 explainer of what parking the bus is, right? And, you know, I know we throw that term around a lot. The reality is there's one thing to park the bus. It's another thing to be good at parking a bus. And this team knew exactly what they were going to do. They were drilled on it. They were connected. They were confident. And they executed, ultimately, in this moment. And so hats off to Carlos Queiroz. Keep in mind, came in late. But I think he recognized each game is different, but he needed to make sure that for this particular game, bend but don't break. You don't have any obligation to entertain anybody else out there, despite the fact that they didn't get the memo. This is the most entertaining, exciting World Cup ever. All right, we're going to have some duds every once in a while. But to your point, as we get further and further in the tournament, it gets more serious and more serious and more serious. This was a serious game, although it wasn't necessarily an entertaining game. And not the end of the world for either of these teams, and in particular when it comes to Ghana. Thank you very much. Put that point in your pocket.
Yeah, and Thierry, parking the bus is a valid part of the game. If you do it well.
That bus had good seats. Very good seats, comfortable for them to defend.
It's a tour bus. Beautiful. You know, Wi-Fi and everything. It was beautiful.
Thank you, gentlemen. In Toronto, later on, Croatia fans are getting...
I think there's little details throughout that game which Thomas Tuchel will definitely look at with the team and try and improve on, because, as Joe said, it's not a disaster at all. We'll qualify for the next round, so it's just there's things when we get into the later stages of the groups we need to improve and make sure we're better.
You said little details, and we saw pre-match those scenes of Jed Spence being shouted at by Thomas Tuchel in training, and then we saw him trying to kind of direct him in-game today, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I think at times there was a bit too much rotation. But then what we see in the game now is full-backs coming inside a lot. So if you look at Jed Spence here, so he plays the ball inside, and now Bellingham and Rice are in good positions. This is where you want your attacking players, in good positions to attack the back line. So Jed Spence comes into Declan Rice's position here, and now Declan Rice he sees him, so he's got a decision to make. So Declan Rice should go onto the top line and then create more space for Spence as he's got in there, but he doesn't. He comes short to get on the ball, and now you lose that attacking player in them attacking areas. So I think, and you look at Thomas Tuchel here, he's shouting at him. He wants him out wide. He doesn't want him in them positions where Declan Rice is. So now the difference here is Declan Rice is in the position.
So what you want him here?
Yes, so Declan Rice is in a good position. Jed Spence runs with energy. Now Declan Rice attacks the back line, and now all of a sudden England's in the penalty box, and they get opportunities to shoot from the edge of the box. So we get a good chance, we get a shot off. So just by squeaking them positions, Jed Spence realising Declan Rice is in there, I don't need to be in there. But if he does go in there, which can happen, Declan Rice, I think, then has to say, right, I'm going forward. Against Ghana, who was sat back, you don't need to be coming back and getting the ball off your centre-backs. You have to keep more players in the box.
The only thing I would say to that, you remember many times when we talked about Kieran Trippier playing on that left-back position, and sometimes it's not natural. Yes, the manager has said to him what he wants him to do, and he wants him to overlap, but maybe he's not as comfortable as he wants to be in terms of going down the line on his left foot. You see on the other side, everyone wants to come back and then go on their preferred foot. But in terms of his energy and what he needs to do and the position he needs to go in, I totally agree with it. It's just sometimes when you're a fullback in those positions, I know he can play left and I know he can play right, but on his left foot, it might not be as comfortable if it was on the other side.
I completely agree, but that's where Anthony Barry said at half-time, patience. That's where if you lose patience, you end up going into other players' positions. So I think keeping that patience, that's what he means in terms of staying in your position. When the ball comes down your side, use your energy to go forward. And Thomas Tuchel recognised that. He brought O'Reilly on, a lot more balanced. Madueke went on the left, got a couple of good crosses in the box. So I think he got the balance right in that period. But I just think when you've got a full-back coming into a number 10's position and number 10 coming to get the ball for centre-backs, you lose. You've got a full-back in the attacking area and your attacking players near your own goal. So it doesn't make sense to me. I think you have to have your attacking players near the goal.
You mentioned Madueke, and let's just pick up on that because, you know, there was kind of movement with Madueke within the game, wasn't to try and get the best out of him. We saw in the first half then him just getting in on the outside was what we wanted him to do, and towards the end of the first half he did. Yeah,
no, I think you want your wide players to
okay, can we just pause
be
it
effective?
There, I think it's pause it there. What you're saying there, you just want him to be in that situation there, but you want him to be more direct and go down the outside?
Yeah, well, what I was saying in the first half is about Rashford, a left footer or right footer on the right side. But look at Madueke here. Now he's gone down the outside. Now you've got players in the box. He gets a great ball into the box and you get an opportunity. So I think having a left foot on the left and a right footer on the right against a low block is more effective for me.
Why do you think he then took him out after, though, and brought Rashford on?
Yeah, he did. I think he's probably tired, he actually didn't have the best of games. But
he seemed like he was at his freest when he was put on that left-hand side.
100%.
And he seemed like he could cause Ghana as much danger. So I think Thomas Tuchel will have loads to think about from that game. And there was so much in-game tinkering. Like, we're not used to that as an England team. So many things changing. People switching sides, coming into the positions. So there was a lot mentally going on for those England players there, and they got there eventually, didn't they? But it just was a little bit slow to get there.
But I think what I said before the game about Tuchel's team talk being simple and not overcomplicated, sometimes on the pitch as well, that's what you need to do. So we've seen, since Pep Guardiola's come be in the Premier League, we've seen lots of rotation and lots of players interchanging positions. But sometimes you're better saying to a player, stay in your position, make the pitch big, have wide players out wide. Get it out wide, get players in the box, get the ball in the box. Sometimes actually stay in your position.
I think especially when they were going to be so rigid, the Ghana team, they didn't care who they were up against, whether they were up against the left back or the right back had come over and was playing left wing. They were just going to play in their position. That's where England confused it a little bit.
OK, let's get some reaction then from the England camp. Declan Rice is talking to Kelly Summers.
Well, Declan, is frustration the overriding emotion at full-time?
Yeah, I think so. It's always difficult when you play against 11 behind the ball as deep as they was. You've got to find solutions, and last 10 minutes we probably found more than we did all game, and we was unlucky not to score. But look, we stay positive, we keep going, and we still have a great chance to top the group against Panama, so positivity all round.
Why do you think you couldn't find those solutions today when you did so well against Croatia?
Sorry, say that again?
Why do you think you couldn't find those solutions today?
You have to give credit to Ghana sometimes. You know, 5-4-1 off the ball, very, very compact, tight spaces to play through. But of course, and on the other hand, maybe we can do a little bit more with the ball and create a bit more. But it's tough, you know, they're good players, like we said that. It was never going to be an easy game, and now we have one more in the group to finish top, so we need to be positive.
It's the fourth tournament in a row where England have drawn their second group match. You've got to finals in 2 of those tournaments. Does that perhaps show that there's no need to panic, it's all on track?
Yeah, you know, loads of top nations drew their first game. You know, there's no need to be negative or downbeat. We need to stay positive, keep going, recover before the next match, and that's what we'll do.
Thanks, Zach.